Have you ever wanted to know exactly what happens behind closed doors in a homeschooling family? Or maybe just why some kids don't send their kids to public school? Or just what it would be like to homeschool? Maybe you want to justify to yourself that all homeschoolers are just a little bit weird, a little bit awkward, completely unsocialized, and can't function in the real world. Do you know how many famous homeschoolers there are? Maybe you've heard of George Washington, Andrew Jackson, or I don't know, Thomas Edison. I don't know about you, but I'm a huge fan of the real Hermione Granger. Yeah, Emma Watson, she was homeschooled. You like music? The Jonas Brothers, Billie Eilish, and Taylor Swift. They were all homeschooled too. Athletes include football giants like Tim Tebow, gymnast Simone Biles, and ballerina Misty Copeland. Do you see the pattern here? These are real people pursuing their dreams. That's what homeschoolers are. Homeschoolers are successful people doing the things they love and utilizing their time to develop their talents. Homeschoolers are successful people doing the things they love because they have the opportunity, the time, and the investment in doing it. Let me ask you a question. As an adult, what do you do when you have a question? Or if you don't know the answer to something? Or even better, you want to learn about something? Exactly, you go look it up. That's what homeschool, world school, unschool, whatever you want to call it, that's what it looks like. It looks like learning. It gives our kids a chance to pursue an education learning about the things that they love. They are able to answer their own questions, and together we work together on finding the answers. And before we go any further, yes, of course, my children learn their timetables, the periodic elements, multiplication, long division. They write essays. They know how to read. I explain this because inevitably there will be someone who thinks in some version of the universe, my children can go onto a computer and type how to look up something without first knowing how to read. So with that out of the way, what does unschooling look like? And what is the most unbelievable thing that people always say to me when they find out I homeschool? Look, I don't homeschool so I can pretend to be Little House on the Prairie. Believe it or not, we don't even have a desk for each child. Let me take you through our hour-to-hour, day-to-day, week-to-week, and what a month looks like in this homeschool family.
We are diapers on a plane.
Every night I make a family schedule and we print it out so that we are all on the same page about the expectations. We have a daily schedule and a daily checklist. The checklist is all about goals and expectations. The schedule keeps us on track so the kids know where they should be in their tasks so that they can use their free time. During their free time, they can do whatever they want. Making jewelry, coding, editing videos, breeding turtles, writing a novel, baking, swimming, riding bikes, drawing, studying dinosaur theories, 3D modeling, playing Minecraft. The list goes on. Unschooling is a philosophy where we don't follow a set curriculum. We learn because it brings us joy. And what we learn depends on our interests, maybe a book we read, a podcast we listened to, or maybe someplace we traveled. The list of things we want to learn never ends, and it never stops growing. Every day looks a little bit different, but we always start and end with a prayer. We have personal scripture study in the morning, and we have family scripture study before bed. Then the chaos begins. Each of our children are learning 2 musical instruments each. 2 musical instruments per child, 20 to 30 minutes per musical instrument. I mean, what did you expect? We are homeschoolers after all. That takes up a huge chunk of the morning, and then we do math. Up to a certain point, I do all of the math with the children, but I do love the online IXL program for math. I am not sponsored, but I gladly would be. This is a great program that caters to each child's specific needs. And I love it because I get a weekly progress report on what they've learned, what they got wrong, what I can work on them with, and how long they spent doing each thing. Then to wrap up the morning, I always send my kids a word of the day. I subscribe to an email called Word Daily, and every day we get a new word, and I copy the word with all of its definitions and example sentences, and I send it to the kids. Sometime in the late afternoon, we have what we call breakfast. I make 2 meals a day. I make a 6-week menu plan, and it's on the fridge for our 2 meals a day. Everybody's involved in making the meals, and everybody's involved in the cleanup. Everyone laughs at me because we usually have our first meal of the day around 11 or 11:30 once we've finished all of our morning responsibilities. Now, to be clear, our house is always full of food. We have got fruit and veggies and snacks all over the house. My kids can eat whatever they want, whenever they want, and whenever they're hungry. But when it comes to mealtime, that is what I focus on in terms of family meals. And like I said, after we all eat, we all contribute to family cleanup, and everybody has their own jobs. If the kids have chores for the day, while they're doing those, I typically read aloud. And we've read books like Fahrenheit 451, The Screwtape Letters, Romeo and Juliet, A Single Shard, the I Survived series. It's either a classic book or it's a book that we've all wanted to read together. Then we have what you would call designated school time. I like to think of this as an elective. We are currently in the middle of a sewing project. I am making skirts with 2 of the girls, and my oldest daughter wants to learn how to make lace gloves. Other days, it has looked like writing a script, acting it out, and video recording a movie. Other days, we've given our kids a YouTube Shorts challenge. It was a huge competition where each of our children created a YouTube short, and then we had a competition to see which one got the most views. Earlier this year, I directed a homeschool neighborhood play that ran for 10 weeks. The kids did everything from the acting and the singing to the choreography, the set and costume design. It was incredible. You can actually see it on this channel. We've done drawing skills, coding a game, modeling the assets, studied and mocked up a 1950s style dinner, theorized about time travel and its possibilities, studied Korean language, which we did not get very far. And of course, we've traveled the world and immersed ourselves in dozens of different cultures around the world. We've spent an entire month in Japan, an entire month in Australia, in the Swiss Alps, in Panama. We spent an entire summer in Korea. And while there, we experienced everything we possibly could about the food, the culture, and the history. So after this project time, our kids have free time until dinner. They can work on their jobs, the family business, their goals, or their personal interests. Mondays are typically set aside for goal planning or wrapping up the goals that you have from the previous week. Tuesdays, we do a science project. One time, we learned all about how to identify the clouds and spent a whole week seeing how the weather patterns were changing and what the clouds indicated. We've made a piñata and then, of course, had to break it. We play with dry ice. We examine liquids in our microscope and tried to make firecrackers. On Wednesdays, we have music lessons, pianos in the morning and guitars in the afternoon. Wednesdays also when we get our new writing assignment for the week. Sometimes it's not just writing an essay. Sometimes it's creating an entire newsletter. One time the kids made a poster. They've scripted a movie trailer or anything else fun that we brainstorm together. On Thursdays, we study history and current events. Usually we end the day as a family with popcorn watching a documentary. Right now we're in the middle of Ancient Apocalypse and it's so cool. On Fridays, we have a spelling test and a music presentation where they show off what they've been practicing all week. Usually, our spelling tests include some of our new vocabulary words that we got from our daily word subscription. And then finally, we meet back up for dinner. We all gather to prepare it together, we eat together, we clean up together, and then we meet again for family scriptures. And after that, because we don't have an early morning start time, the kids have free time until they're ready to go to bed. I think the most humorous thing about homeschooling is how often a stranger or somebody we encounter at the park or the store comes out to my kids and compliments them on the way that they talk, the way that they read, the way they interact with others, or the way that they behave. Up until the moment that inevitable question comes out. What grade are you in? At that point, it's like we have the plague and I'm suddenly invisible and these people have tunnel vision where they cannot get out of there fast enough. So I don't know. You be the judge. What do you think?